Hi everybody, I'm Pamela Atwood. I'm a gerontologist. I am a certified laughter leader and a certified dementia practitioner. And welcome back to our Caregiver series. We're hoping that this information will help people be confident caregivers. And today I'm really inspired by one of my friends who I saw this past weekend. And she was telling me about some problems that she's having with a family member. And I had given her a hug at one point and I said, so you're going to call me and we're going to do a quick care consult. And she said to me something that I thought was so accurate and I really wanted to share it with all of you. People are sometimes very overwhelmed by all of the caregiving demands that they have. And when someone like me comes around and says, how come you didn't call me? Or I can help you. Tell me what I can do. A lot of times the reluctance or the reason that they haven't called is because of what this person said to me. And she said, I wouldn't even know what to ask. And that's when it hit me. Ta-da! We have to do this in a video because when you're dealing with a care consultant, and that's really what I do, a good care consultant doesn't need you to ask any questions. All you really have to do is start to tell me the story. When you start to tell me your family member's story, all of a sudden a good care consultant will know how to guide you. I am the one who has to ask questions. All you have to do is start to tell me your story. I will know what questions to ask. And then we'll go through this journey and you'll kind of tell me a little bit about what this journey has been for you. Then I can kind of guide you, help you come up with a roadmap for where you should be going next. So that's the whole point of doing work with a care consultant. I'm available to help people. I am available even via Skype or FaceTime, so that's not a problem. So if it's a matter of trying to coordinate timing, we can do that outside of office hours. Or if it's a matter of distance, it doesn't matter because with the wonderful world of technology nowadays, we can do this very simply through technology. So remember that care consultation is a service that's available to you to help support you and provide the information that you need to continue being the confident caregiver that you've always wanted to be. So you can email me privately at Pamela Atwood LOL, because as a certified laughter leader, I do like to laugh a lot and laugh out loud. So Pamela Atwood, ATWOOD LOL @gmail.com. You can email me and we'll set something up. Let's keep talking about caregivers. And I wanted to spend a little bit of time today talking about caregiver stress because having been away this weekend, I got to see a lot of caregivers who are trying to engage in a hobby and doing something wonderful, but with the caregiver stress that we all have, it becomes a little bit more demanding. So I wanted to share some insight. I do a lot of public speaking, and the very first presentation that I ever did was on caregiver stress. And at that point, I worked for the Alzheimer's Association, and I sat there with the caregiver stress brochure that they had back at the time, and basically just went through all of the signs and symptoms and told the stories that I had experienced as a caregiver taking care of my grandmother, to kind of talk about how it felt as a caregiver to experience or to say, yeah, and I identify with this particular symptom. So I thought I would kind of recreate that a little bit, but not having a full hour. I want to keep this brief, keep it to my usual 9 to 12 minutes, kind of look at what are some of the symptoms, but more importantly, what are the things that we need to do about them. So real quickly, some of the symptoms include denial. We all have that at first, and this really is a stage. When we are caregivers, denial is not just a symptom, it really is a stage of the caregiving process. A family member that was in our health system at one point many years ago said to me, you can't tell me my mother has Alzheimer's disease. I can't handle that right now. And she was very specific about it. And I thought, oh my God. And it just totally hit me in the face. I mean, working in healthcare and in social services, we all hear about denial, but to have her articulate it so clearly, you can't tell me that my mother has Alzheimer's disease, I can't handle that right now, was brilliant, because to me, it really opened my eyes to say, this is not just a symptom. This is actually a coping strategy. Denial is a way that people cope with change. And there is no amount of education that we can provide to someone that's going to support them to help them shed their denial. When I was working on my master's degree in gerontology, we talked a lot in our human development classes. One of my favorite theorists was talking about, shedding a culture of embeddedness, and that people have to make meaning of their reality and of the experience before they can fully change into this new level or stage. Denial really then is a way of coping and understanding what's going on. Education's important, don't get me wrong, information is valuable, but until someone is ready to accept that next level of acceptance or that level of understanding, all we can do is support them until they're ready to come out of denial. That's important whether we are caregivers, whether we are people dealing with a new diagnosis. I'm going to be in denial about something until I'm ready to deal with it, until I can face it. Information is helpful, but you can't look at someone like me and say, oh, you need to go provide somebody some education because they're in so much denial. That really doesn't help. All we can do is support them. We can provide information and support. And then when they are ready to accept it, then we'll be there for them. So, what can we do to help someone? Symptoms of caregiver stress, I mentioned denial. Anger, social withdrawal, this is very, very common. And often that plus the anxiety then really kind of leads to depression. Caregivers, 80% of them experience significant amount of stress. Estimates are that about half of them are also clinically depressed. So it's very important for caregivers to get evaluated for depression. I can't tell you how many times I have had someone come in to our support group, and I apologize in advance for using the brand name. It's in no way an endorsement, just a quote from her saying, ladies, I have found the answer and it is, and then she put in the name of the antidepressant here. And what she was saying is it's those little tiny things, and I think we talked about this in another show, that might set you over the edge when you get treated with an antidepressant for depression, if that's what you have, and only a qualified clinician can tell you that. A doctor or nurse practitioner, doesn't have to be a psychiatrist. You can go to your general practitioner and get evaluated. It's important to understand that an antidepressant will help you cope with some of those things that frustrate you, that make you anxious or agitated as a caregiver. So it's important that we get our depression treated. So what can we do to be healthy caregivers? Number one is we have to take care of ourselves. How do we do that? The very, very, very first thing I want you to do is I want you to ask yourself, how many times do you put yourself down in a day? How many times do you think, oh, I should have done that? Or, oh, God, I'm so stupid. Why did I do that? Or, oh, I never should have said that. What's the matter with me? I know I can't. They can't help it. We put ourselves down a lot. And part of that's cultural. And part of that is an era in which we're growing up. And part of that may be gender related or identity related. Part of this is something that we need to get into a better habit. I'm reading a great book right now on neuroplasticity. And one of the things that it talks about is what to say when you're talking to yourself. The more you put yourself down as a caregiver, the more you believe that. One of the things, and I'm not going to, like I said, go into the whole thing on how to take care of a caregiver. We want to use one thing at a time. So for this video, what I want to focus on is talking to yourself in a better way. Just reframe it. So instead of saying, oh God, I forgot that appointment. You know what? I did remember. I'm remembering now. I remember later than I planned, but all is not gone. All is not totally destroyed. Let me take action now. I remembered late, but I remembered. That's so much better than, oh, I forgot. So start to forgive yourself. None of us is perfect. We're not supposed to be perfect. So start with just some internal forgiveness. That's the only thing I want you to focus on right now. Start with some internal forgiveness. Make peace with imperfection. That's one of my favorite books of all time. I know I have a lot of them. This one is Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. It's All Small Stuff by, oh gosh, it's going right out of my head. I'm forgetting late. Oh no, Richard Carlson. Okay, so Dr. Richard Carlson put together this book. What I've Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, It's All Small Stuff. I love that book because, first of all, as a caregiver, it's like 2 or 3 page chapters. I can feel like I did some great reading before I go to bed by reading 2 chapters before bed, and I've read a total of 6 pages max. But I love that book, and my favorite chapter is Make Peace with Imperfection. And I mean it. Make peace with imperfection. You're not supposed to be perfect. You're never going to be perfect. And you're only going to be beating yourself up with your imperfections. So make peace with that and forgive yourself. In the World Laughter Tour, to make more famous quotes, our World Laughter Tour, as a certified laughter leader, our Fridays we practice forgiveness in the World Laughter Tour Good-Hearted Living program. So on Fridays we practice forgiveness. The hardest person to forgive is not the person that you're caring for. The hardest person to forgive is yourself. So it's important that we start to focus on that. My quote today to end this video is actually in honor of, we just recently had Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and so I chose a quote from Martin Luther King Jr., and that is, "Forgiveness is not an occasional act, it's an attitude." So that quote is attributed to Martin Luther King Jr. As a caregiver, I encourage you to start to forgive yourself for being imperfect and make peace with that imperfection. Reframe some of your thinking so that you're not beating yourself up every day. All right, confident caregivers, go forth with your day. I wish you lots of luck. Remember, I'm here for you. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel at Pamela Atwood, and also you can check me out on Instagram, pamela.atwood, and you can also check us out on our website, www.agingcareacademy.org. We are enrolling for some of our online classes now, so I encourage you to check those out on agingcareacademy.org and see if you can enroll in our classes. You can also email me for a care consult if you need to. Either through the website, you can also get me through the website, or you can email me directly at Pamela Atwood, LOL, @gmail.com. Thank you so much. Have a great day.